Gentleman yields. I now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Huffman, for 5
Thank you,
minutes.
Mr. Chairman. I always learn something in these. Mr. Stauber just, suggested maybe if we require NEPA for forest fires, we could solve this problem. I wish it was that simple. I also wish it was as simple as my colleague from California portrayed in his very nostalgic, gauzy view of the 1970s. I wish that all of the problems of rural economies and fire risk could be solved by just rewinding back to the 70s and doing everything the way we used to back then. But the truth is, not everything was perfectly done in the 1970s. In fact, some of the timber harvest that took place in the 70s and 80s was not sustainable. Some of these clear cuts created long-term damage. I mean, we still have watersheds that are bombed out, fisheries that are devastated by erosion and other problems from some clear cutting that just shouldn't have happened, at least not in the way that it did. Not only driving some species to the brink of extinction, but devastating salmon in the western United States. And we've had to spend so much public dollars trying to restore a lot of the damage that was done then. And I look around my district, and some of the most unhealthy forests that we have were forests that were clear cut during that golden age, and then replanted with even age plantation forests that are totally unhealthy and very vulnerable to catastrophic fire. So we shouldn't be too nostalgic and gauzy about the 1970s. We're all trying to solve problems here, but I think we've got to do it with clear eyes. And so Director Gibbs, I wanted to ask you just about what's happening right now with this federal funding freeze, because in my district, I just recently talked to the Humboldt County Resource Conservation District about how the freeze in federal funding and all of this chaos and uncertainty is causing their entire community wildfire defense program to just be frozen and suspended. And of course, they work with other partners, with tribes and local governments and private landowners. Often the federal funding leverages all of those other resources. It gets people working together in ways that they wouldn't otherwise collaborate. And we are now weeks into a freeze. We could be months in before it's over. We could lose the entire season. Tell me what's happening in Colorado, and what are your thoughts about the effects of these actions on the ground?
Thank you, Congressman, for that question. To say the least, it's created major uncertainty, to say the least, for the Colorado Department of Natural Resources. We have more than 350 federal grants that support approximately $300 million worth of programs with a staff capacity of 490 people that are funded through federal funding. We do extensive work at the Department of Natural Resources. Picture us like almost like a miniature Department of Interior. We handle land, water, wildlife, minerals, and oil and gas. And let me just give you a quick snapshot of some of these potential impacts. And we're really monitoring this closely because it's day by day. I actually have meetings initially when the executive orders came out where I had meetings first thing in the morning and then later on in the afternoon because there was such uncertainty for me and my staff to understand what are we going to be reimbursed for, who's going to be our partner. Just a couple days ago, I actually, my staff asked us if I should fund a $4 million critical dam project that our Parks and Wildlife team manage. And this is considered a dam where if there was a breach or a earthen dam where there would be there could be huge consequences for a local community if not funded. We decided to fund that program moving forward without really knowing if we're going to be reimbursed. But everything from wildlife operations to outdoor recreation, aquatic nuisance species. As you know, out west, that's a huge challenge. Water Conservation Board, we have a water-ready watersheds program that works with local communities to do a threat analysis to understand if there is a major catastrophic wildfire, what that would mean to the local community, where those sediment issues would be, where the community would be most at risk. We also have a floodplain mapping unit that's funded through federal government. And then our Energy and Carbon Management Commission, we have our Orphan Well program. And then to this date, within our Division of Reclamation, Mining, and Safety, a program for our abandoned mine program, which is funded through IIJA funds, are frozen right now.
Yep.
And this is looking at like critically life and safety of people in Colorado, where if our team can't get in there and do remediation work, it could have seismic, challenges for our communities. And so it's created uncertainty and huge challenges and confusions, to say the least, but we're monitoring it very closely.
Thank you very much. Yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields. I now recognize